Blast this weekend. And what a phenomenal debut. I'm excited to see you back on air next weekend. And if you're interested, we'll have you back in summer. I'm Quickshot, joined by Ender, and in just a moment's time, Rekklles as well.
The real deal, not just cardboard Rekklles.
Not just the cardboard Rekklles. No, that means Rekklles will still be able to have cardboard Rekklles in his bedroom after a fantastic performance. Let's go, Rekklles. Congratulations. What does it feel like to get revenge after the defeat last time?
Feels good. So basically I told the guys after the game that I wanted to say for so long that I think we have really good chances of winning the split, but until beating Fnatic, it didn't really feel like the right thing to say. So after the game today, it was finally time to tell them that I think we have really, really good chances of winning, and it feels great to be able to show that we can beat all the teams in the league. I think that's really important for just your confidence going into playoffs, knowing that you can take all the nexuses.
Yeah, and I think with the way you guys have been playing, that's definitely up for grabs for you guys. You guys also have Rogue coming up next week, which is going to be a really sick matchup between the two teams. But especially in this game, it was just the Yanko show all around, and I was just so impressed by his Olaf from the early game to the mid game to late. He just ended everything.
Just quickly before we get to some replays, can I ask what your thoughts were just on the Jhin pick and then the Yone pick? Because when I saw Jhin earlier, and then I think it was it into Alistar or was after Alistar? I can't recall exactly. But it's like some of the words we're talking about was like confidence on your side. Then the Yone got dropped, and I was just like, well, that's bold. And especially after the Volibear performance last time, I'm like, this is either going to sink or swim, and very clearly it's sunk.
So we saw that Yamato tweeted before the game that they had something special planned for the game. So we were kind of thinking with them so easily giving us Gragas on 4-5 that something was coming on 5. Wunder suggested that Riven was coming. I guess Yon kind of fits a similar category, but we knew something was coming, and I think in this kind of draft they don't really have a choice. They have too much AP for it to be a tank top lane. They have to go for something crazy, and yeah, I think our draft is just too solid to deal with that. Like they can't really pick a carry top lane and expect him to run over our team comp. So I think it was hard for him to find a pick.
Even when they do, your top laner it's just sick. The Wunder outplay. I'm not even sure if you would have seen this, but let's pull up this first replay. And when we saw this backstage, I think we were just like, yep, it's done. G2 will win from here.
Yeah, it was looking rough because this was after already the kill went down up in the top side, but then Wunder here, he just soaks up everything. It's so rough as well because now assume as the Fate's Call comes through, then Upset's taking the turret, steps back in, doesn't think that he still has it. It was rough all the way around. And at this point, yeah, it was like, how does Wunder ever die in a side lane again? Because Bwipo had already fallen a little bit behind with an early game gank too.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, this is going to follow into a Drake fight. This was super, super close as well. At the end, G2 come out on top, and I think Mickey, in particular, had a fantastic setup. What was going through comms and your mind at the time, Rekklles?
Woo! So Mickey was saying at this time that he could look for flash ult, and he was about to go, but then I got slept by Lilia, so we waited for a couple of seconds before everyone was ready, and then, yeah, he just landed a 4-man ult. I think it's easier said than done. I know Rel is really strong. I think everyone can agree with this, but getting an ult like this in a game like this is just exactly what you need, I think, for just the confidence that you need to take it all home.
Yeah, I was talking with Deficio just a few minutes ago actually about this Rel pick, and he was saying in his eyes it's sort of the new Rakan back in the day when you could like snap ult flash, instantly find some crazy engage. You can see right there with the Rel. We saw like Treats earlier today with some insane performances on that too. Rel is definitely not a pick to sleep on anymore.
No, absolutely not. And I mean, look, key player of the game, and ended up going to Jankos. He got 68% of the votes. He just destroyed Fnatic. I love that we've got this clip. Medic used to
They're already dead!
Disgusting. And there is a sense of divine retribution watching Bwipo in this case. Why do I say that? Rekklles, I know that there is a professional competition between former players, former colleagues, but last time when Fnatic won the game, Bwipo said, during the pause, all I could think about was snapping Rekkles's neck on that Volibear pick. Now you've got revenge, and I know you're not necessarily the type to be that type of flamey, but how does it feel taking him down after what he said last time?
I mean, in all honesty, it was all I could think about during the pause last time as well, so it was a fair statement from him. But I guess, as I mentioned a bit earlier, it was, for me, today, it was much more just about the fact that we could show to each other that we can beat every team in Europe. I think this is just really important to have with you going into playoffs, because I've been a part of splits before where I've been on top of the league, but I've had 0-2 records against some teams, and then it's really scary to face them later on. So it's nice to know that you can take all the nexuses down. I think this is just really, really important, something that is undervalued for sure.
Rekklez, I know you've been incredibly successful for an incredibly long period of time, but you may be surprised or not to know that this is your highest win percentage of a regular season since the 18-0 split back in 2015, right? So that's incredible. I also think it's very interesting that you started this conversation by telling Ender and I and all the viewers at home that this was the game that allowed you to turn to the rest of the team and say, I think we're going to win the split. Now, that comes with a lot of expectation, but you've always had that on your shoulders. Does it feel different wearing a G2 jersey now that you've, traded from the expectation from Fnatic?
I guess my own expectations are the same. I've always tried my absolute best to win everything that I'm a part of. But I think the difference now is that I'm the new guy in the team, so I don't have to have all the responsibilities that come with playing in a team for so long. I think maybe now someone like Jankos has that for us, or I guess Perks before him. So it's kind of, just a different role for me in the team. And to me, this is much better. I've never really been that great at being a leader, I think. So it didn't really fit me that well in Fnatic. I feel much more that this is me being like the backbone for the team rather than the face for the team.
I absolutely love hearing that. I think something that's a little bit unrecognized is just how self-aware you are, Rekklez, when it does come to analyzing and interpreting your own performance. To be able to say you're never that great of a leader, that takes a lot. I do need to move us along, and I have just one last question. What do you think of Rekklez with My Heart?
Honestly, I thought this song was really great. I feel like if someone listened to this and they had no idea what you guys were talking about, it'd still be a banger. So I was actually quite hyped to see that you could create something like this off of just, I guess, mainly memes, yeah.
Very last question, very last question. Knowing that there are some hints of a relationship, of a love story, of, scorned lovers, and knowing it's Vedia singing basically at you, does that change how you personally feel about it?
Actually, it made me like it more. I think. It really felt personal. I quite liked it, actually.
Oh, I love it. Andy, my man. All right, let's turn our attention towards the standings. There's, of course, two big stories that I would like to cover before we end PGL. The first of them is going to be the three-horse race towards the bottom. We can see the ties. And then I want to move on to the top of the table bouts. Obviously, G2 and Rogue currently tied at 11-2. Ender's already pointed it out. Next weekend, G2 and Rogue will play each other. So will Mad and Rogue. So both of these teams at the top of the table as well have secured spots in playoffs, all right? Before we break both of them down, Rekklez, can you tell me what you make of the bottom? These three teams that are at 5 and 8 on the standings, and who do you think has the edge when it comes to securing that 6th spot?
So 5 and 8 right now is Excel,
Misfits,
it's Misfits,
and Schalke.
And Schalke, okay. Out of the three, I would say Misfits look pretty good, actually. I'm actually surprised they have so many losses. I never thought they were going to be a team at 8 losses. I feel like that's more Excel territory. I'm kind of surprised, actually, Schalke is there too, now that I think about it. But I would say for sure Excel got a lot of wins in the beginning. Deserved, of course. I mean, you get the wins you deserve, but now it feels like they don't really get away with anymore this whole late game thing that they had going. And Schalke lost their identity after not winning on their best champs anymore. So maybe those two teams are the ones right now that really need some sort of reset within themselves. Like finding, it can be as simple as like having a guy be a carry for your team that you play for maybe even too much. I think something simple like this can really help in a dire situation. And for Misfits, I would say maybe this is exactly what they found this week. They left the Senna open twice and played the Estral against that, tried to just play slow and steady, and it worked really well for them. So maybe they found exactly what they need, and that's something that Excel and Schalke needs to do as well.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I think we saw it in Misfits even a little bit deeper than just the picks they went for, but how Razork was playing in the early game instead of going through bot lane. It was all about getting VTO into a comfortable position around mid lane. And for Schalke, who are now 6 losses in a row, I believe, XL 5 losses in a row. it feels very... I don't know, it feels like they have almost no momentum going for them with only 2 weeks remaining in the season. And even like other teams have found wins more recently, like Astralis brought in Magic Felix and had some sort of life in them as well. So yeah, for Schalke in particular, who I was a little bit more excited about, I think, earlier into the season, it has to be Gilius for me, and he has to find some way to have the early game impact that was so good for the last few weeks and was so good at the end of summer last year.
It's so tough because you're running out of time, right? Now, we will find out a little bit more on how that will play out, but I do have one question that I'm going to pose to Ender and to Rekkless. And the question is, who's going to win the regular season? I would like you to answer that question after we analyze the strength of schedule for both G2 and Rogue. And obviously knowing that they're going to play each other next week. Let's start with Rogue's strength of schedule. We got some of the clips from earlier today where, you know, they're still doing very well. They're still playing very clean. I'm going to go to Ender. Let's set the stage for Rogue. We'll look at their opponents. You can see them on screen. And then we'll go to G2.
I mean, honestly, I don't care too much about the strength of schedule other than the fact that these two teams play each other.
Do you think that's the deciding
G2
factor?
and Rogue are the two best teams in the LEC, and whoever wins next week, week 7, day 1, it looks like, the very next matchup, that's who's going to win the summer.
I mean, if G2...
Or spring.
Oh, the whole thing?
Yeah, they're going to win everything. Worlds too, yeah.
Well, I mean, no doubt about it, right?
Obviously.
Now, of course, G2 have a 1-0 head-to-head over Rogue. Rogue have historically fallen short when it comes to teams above them in the standings. Rekkless, I obviously know you're biased in this prediction, right? But how scared of Rogue are you?
I mean, last time we played them, it was really hard to win. We had one of our better games, I think, and it still took us 50 minutes to beat them. So for sure, this is a scary matchup. I agree, though, with Ender. Like, this game is going to decide who's first and who's second, not only because of the head-to-head, but also I think we're not really going to drop that many games to other teams, neither of us. So this win will matter a lot.
Let's take a look at the G2 strength of schedule. And Rekkless, let me know about some of the games. Let's put it this way. Rank your remaining opponents, 1, 2, and 3, that you're most afraid of. Not the strongest strength of schedule in comparison to many others. I'm going to assume Rogue is the team you're most fearing. But who is number 2 and 3?
Yeah. For sure, it's between Mad and SK. I think SK look kind of good. Maybe not early game, but the way they team fight together, it seems like they have found what works for them. They draft for it every game and they play really well in team fights. So this is something for sure we have to look out for. And I guess Carsey today showed some silver. Man of culture, if you ask me. So be careful for that as well.
He did ask for a review. I saw it on Twitter.
Rekkless replied.
I didn't see that.
Yeah.
I did, yeah.
I'm working. I'm not on Twitter the whole time. Okay. What was the reply for everyone viewing?
I said that I'm proud. He didn't die. So that's basically me.
Okay, unfortunately, we are a little bit time boxed. I would love to keep talking, but I do need you both to answer the question. Whoever wins will win the split was Ender's statement. I need a team. Which one will it be?
Well, the thing is, I made a pretty gnarly Euphoria bet coming into this week where I put G2 in first, so I'm going to have to stick to my guns on that one.
Well, there we go. I already know that Rekkless will say G2 because he told us at the beginning of PGL. I do need to move us along. If the key up player of the game leaderboard, Ahmed is currently in first. It's followed by Hansama, Treats, and then Rekkless. Ties are broken by percentage of votes. Rekkless, what I do want to know, how important are player of the game votes to G2? How much do you meme about them? How much do you even talk about them?
We don't really talk about them at all. But if you ask me, I'd rather see my teammates get it than myself, because I know I'm fine anyways. But for example, yesterday when I saw Mickey get it, I was really happy for him because I know that does a lot for him. Like, he just feels a lot better about himself when something like this happens. Meanwhile, for me, it doesn't affect me as much. So I would much rather just see it go to my teammates every game. So for those watching, don't vote for me. Thank you.
All right, I have a new person to start pushing after Odoamne now. It's gonna be Mickey next.
It's gonna be Mickey.
Yeah.
What I love, it's literally the opposite, right? Odo's sitting in every single interview saying, vote for me, like just begging for attention. And Rekkless on the other side is just like, no, I'm good. You know, it's no stress. Anyways, I mentioned already, we've got some great matchups coming next week. G2 Sports will be facing Rogue on Friday, in my opinion. That's the match of the week. We also have Rogue versus Mad Lions, the official match of the week. But honestly, with standing so close and so many games being important, I think Astralis Misfits could be interesting in the race for playoffs, Ender.
Yeah, definitely Astralis Misfits. Also, Schalke versus Mad Lions is one of the harder matchups, I think, remaining, but Schalke just have to win games. Like, if it continues down this trend, it's not going to look good. Because, again, Schalke are a very streaky team.
Yeah.
So if they start off on a win, maybe a chance. If not, It's rough.
I absolutely agree. Listen, Rekkless, I just want to say thank you so much. Congratulations on the win. Congratulations on bouncing back for the loss. It is a pleasure to hear from you and speak as always. I do need to do a PGL selfie, and
I thought you were going to forget, to be honest.
I have a gift. I have a gift for Ender. Now, as you may be aware, that you'll have to hold this.
Okay.
Because of COVID, we do have to send staff home when the show's done. Vedius had the opportunity to come and join the photo with us with a cardboard cutout of Rekklles and the real Rekkless, like double
It's
Rekkless.
funny because I don't recognize your arms
And
in
he
this.
said-
This must have been before the tattoos.
Oh, yeah, it is the case. Actually, I think you've got to go behind me. You're
Okay.
too tall. Okay, wait, let's see. Can we get this? Can we get this working? Yes, there we go.
Okay.
Oh, man, suck the belly in. Wait.
Oh, wait, I have to avoid.
Yes, there we
have
go.
to get real Rekklles.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. There we go. There we go. Okay, let's read the prompter. That was all from us here tonight. Thank you so much, Rekkless. Be sure to
Thank you
tune in
for
to the
having me.
LCS.